16th of December, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos. Morning, Rabbi.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst.
Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Rabbi Shlomo.
Morning.
Good morning, Barry. Here we are on Zoom in Yerushalayim. Shiva Samanashi, Shira Pirkei Avos. Good morning, Barry. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, let me put the document on screen. Okay, we're learning in the third Pierke Avos. Okay, yeah, let's, who's going to lead today? Any volunteers?
I do.
Okay, Lou, let's just read them. I'm gonna read the first line there, Rabbi Yishmael Omer, and then we'll go to the Tosus Yom Tov.
Rabbi Yishmael Omer, Hayu Kal Larosh, the Nuach Lisash Chores, Vahayu Mekabel Es Kol Ha'adam B'Simcha. Rabbi Yishmael said, one should be subservient to the leader and patient with the young or the old, and one should be receptive, or one should receive the whole person with happiness.
Very good. Okay, let's now see the Tosus Yom Tov. That's the third paragraph from the top there. Having Makabel Kol Adam B'Simcha.
Okay, one should receive all the whole person with happiness. Peirush Harambam.
Yes, that's the Harav. That's Harav. That's referring to the Rav Bartanura. If I'm not mistaken.
The explanation of Rav Bartanura, Talmud, B'Simcha. Talmud is to stand.
One second. Yeah, Talmud. Right, Talmud B'Simcha. You should be in a Talmud means to be constant in this simcha.
To be constant in his happiness. Mikabel, Kamo, Makbil, Akule, to receive like a receiver.
Mikabel, Kamo, Mikabel. Yeah, I mean, it's a question of what is it Mikabel, meaning to like you when you receive something, right? It's you're taking it into your hands. I mean, you're greeting this person by you're embracing him. That's the word I'm looking for. You're embracing him, right? It's not simply greeting him, but you're like embracing him in a friendly manner.
So like embracing.
Right.
Vizal and the sages.
I think this is Zedla Shana Hamatik is the one who copied it over. The one who copied it over.
The scribe.
Yeah, I think so.
So and this is the language of the scribe. The fee Harambam, in accordance with the Rambam, nearly, it seems to me, she mefarash malat, 'Melat, 'Mikabel, 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 'Mik mehak bilas panim. Seems to me that that the explanation is that a complete or a full receiving is with embracing his presence.
Yeah, it's it says the Fi Rambam according to the Rambam that we mentioned previously, Mefarish Milas, the Rambam explained the word, the Milas, Mekabel.
Excuse me, I have to get the door.
He said Mekabel is Mekabel Kapalas Panim. That means that's a greeting, right? Kapalas Panim is a phrase for a greeting. So it's a fine nuance. It's whether you're greeting somebody or receiving somebody. I mean, in a certain way, they're really the same thing, but they're making a fine distinction between the two, between greeting somebody and receiving somebody. You know, that makes sense, Barry?
Yes, that's Kabbalat Panim.
Right.
So that's when you accept the presence of someone.
Right. You're greeting him, like, you know, you're greeting, but that doesn't mean you're actually receiving him as, you know, with open arms, with actual embrace.
Right. You just have to be respectful. You don't have to like him.
Right. That's right.
Necessarily, but you have to respect his position.
If he has a position, yeah, and if he doesn't have a position.
Yeah, if he has a position.
Yeah. If he doesn't have a position, so you know, maybe give him one.
Yeah, everybody has a position, really.
Yeah. No, really? You think so? I know some people, they're official nobodies.
Yeah, well,
Every place has an official nobody, right, Barry?
That's right.
but I mean, you can have a position as a husband, have a position as the town. I don't know, something or other, but doesn't have to be a position of royalty or something high up like that.
But isn't this basically referring to people who do have a public position, like a Rosh Hashiva or a mayor of a town, or, you know, that type of thing?
Well, here we're talking about it depends. If you go along with the straight understanding of Kol Ha'adam, it's not referring to everybody. It's talking to that person that you are receiving, embracing him. You have to do it in a full, complete way, wholeheartedly.
Doesn't I'm sorry, excuse me, doesn't it suggest that when the word Adam is used, that means that everybody has the status of Adam, and we have to respect that?
Correct. Right.
That's when it says Kabbalah's Panim, it hints to me that it's referring to the fact that we were created in the image of Hashem. So our face, when we look at someone's face, it should be reminded that that person was created by HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Just for that alone, we have to be, whatever, respectful or you know.
That's true. That's very true.
When it says, because it says you should greet everybody with simcha,
right?
But simcha doesn't mean you have to hop around and dance. It means that you're serenely accepting.
Right.
So you can accept everybody besimcha.
Right.
It doesn't mean, it's not really referring to all the dancing at a chasana.
No. That's no. If you're appreciative of who and what the person is, then it should be very easy to makabel him besimcha.
Right, and everybody is created in the image of Hashem, so we have to keep that in mind when we're treating.
That's right. That's very true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's see further. So it's Ki'ilu hu when this middle of the second line room. Ki'ilu, it's as if.
The Keilu who Mekabel Hanigzar Min Ha-Kivilos Ha-Lulos. It's as if he received, what is a gazar?
Yeah. It's Ki'ilu hu mekabel hanigzar min hakibilois halululois. Nigzar is usually what's decreed, right? It's usually, he's quoting a pasuk here. I'd like to see what that pasuk is. Yeah. So I see what he says. I see what he's doing. He says it's Ashehu min haramis. Ashehu min haramis. That's the pasuk. Let me see.
Aramis is an Aramaean.
I believe so. Right.
That's how we refer to Lavan.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure. I don't see this as a pasuk. I don't see clear this is a pasuk. One second. Let's go further until I'll see if I can find it here.
Okay. So do we have a working definition of this sentence?
This pasuk, I'm not sure. Ashehu min haramis. Ashehu min asher. Who?
Targum Nagad O Nachoach.
Right.
So they translate the word Nun Gimel Daled as the word Nun Kaf Chet.
Right. Nochach. Neged or nochach. That's adjacent or opposing to adjacent to.
I see. Okay. V'chol Omer B'zeh Ha'anin Be'arvei Kol Pegisha V'Hakabala Omer Pegisha Pegashni Galuni
That's Ploni. That's Ploni.
Ploni B'Simcha. Okay. V'chein, and so we say about this, the subject Ba'avrei is that passes.
It's so here it says that he's giving an example. He's just trying to illustrate the usage over here. V'chein omer bezeh inyan ba'arvi. We say ba'arvi call pegia b'kabbalah omer, meaning in Ivri, ba'avari, and in Ivri, right? And meaning in Hebrew, we call pegisha. The Kabbalah, we call every type of a pagish is an encounter. And Kabbalah is like a greeting. Every encounter and greeting, Omer, what a person would say, Pigash nitini I ploni, besimcha, that I encountered so and so joyously. Or beza'af, or he was angry.
So what, I was happy or I was angry?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's giving an illustration how you use this language in Hebrew. When a person says that he'll say pegashni or ploni, besimcha or beza'af, meaning he'll speak in a way that I encountered or I greeted so and so either joyously or angrily.
Okay.
That's an example.
Uvelashon hahu peresh
Pirish harav,
harav mikabel hana. And in this language, the explanation of the Rav is to receive beneficially.
yeah, if he received some benefit, he received some benefit with the and with understanding. Meaning he had an encounter with somebody, and his encounter with that person was something which led to a benefit and some type of knowledgeable exchange.
Okay, and this is I'll quote Lashon.
Ad kan l'shana. Okay, and the
Lashon.
next, yeah. Then I want to skip the next line. The next line is that's just a side point. Now, but simcha. This is where he says, "What's we're trying to understand what simcha is here." What does that
Simcha. V'zeh yoter mima shamar shamai bisvar
The savor panim yafos.
the saver panim yafos harambam. So b'simcha, this is additionally from what that he says.
That what Shammai said. Shammai said in the first parak. We'll refer back to that in a moment. But Shammai said you should greet everybody with savor panim yafos, right? And
Yes.
here, this is the Rambam. The Rambam saying what Rabbi Yishmael is saying now over here is greater than what Shammai said. Which Shammai said you should makabel everybody with savor panim yafos. And here, Rabbi Yishmael saying you should makabel kol ha'adam b'simcha. And the Rambam is saying this is a greater thing to do than what Shammai said to do.
So simcha is greater than saver panim yafos.
Yes. Why should that be? Any ideas?
Yeah, because we said that when you're greeting him simcha, it's not just a matter of having a pleasant face. It's a matter of receiving the whole person, of being happy with his entirety.
Oh, right. Savor panim yafos is simply external. Is basically external, right? Basically external. But if you makabel b'simcha, simcha is usually something that, like Barry was telling us, something which is more panemius, something which is more internal. Correct?
Yeah, but the panim does reveal the person.
That's very true. That is true.
I mean, I know from personal experience working in the yeshiva that that the Rav Shmuel and Rav Elia, they knew everything about the student.
Yeah.
They could tell by looking at a student's face how they were doing in learning. They would see the Bacham coming into the dining room, and just by looking at them, they would know. And it was also the cook, who was a Holocaust survivor. She was a tzedekis, mamish, and she would, when people would come through the line, the Bachram, she could tell by looking at their face what was going on with them, who was having trouble learning and who wasn't feeling well and who was homesick. And she would go to because the Rosh Hashiva told me this, she would go to the Rosh Hashiva and say, Chaim from Muncie is having trouble. It looks like he's having trouble with his charusa. And she would be right on line just by their punim.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because the punim, I'm not on that level, but the, people who have trained themselves can do it. It's all in the face.
If you're sensitive, first of all, if you have a desire to be sensitive, that's number one. You have to want to care. You have to want to care, right?
Sure. Right. Exactly.
So if you want to care, then there are definitely ways to find out and to know. Definitely to know. You see the perfect classic example of this with Yosef, when he was with the baker and the butler, right? That he noticed that they weren't as they were more sad than usual. The Farshim actually say, because they asked the question, these guys were in jail, and they, it could be, jail was no fun in those days. You didn't have color televisions. Right,
yeah.
So, and the inmates there, they could be there for the rest of their lives, or their lives could be very quickly cut short at the notice of who knows who. So they were living in a constant situation of doubt as to how long they're going to be there, if they're going to be alive the next day. So in the jails in the good old days were not very happy places, and people there weren't very happy. And Yosef noticed that they were extra unhappy this day when they had their dreams. So because he was sensitive to that.
Tzaddik, Yosef Tzaddik.
That's right. That's right. That was the beginning of the Yetzias Mitzrayim and Mekabling the Torah, and then coming to Eretz Israel and building the base of Mikdash. That was the beginning of Klal Yisrael, when he was taken up out of the dungeon, out of the jail. That was the beginning of Klal Yisrael's nationhood.
Right? The most amazing part of that story is when they took him out and said, "You're going to Paro. Paro summoned you. Let's go." And he said, "No, wait a minute. I have to shave. I have to take a bath. I have to get on clean clothes. I have these schmutzy clothes on," and that's what he did.
That's right. Don't fool yourselves. You should realize that when the jails in those days were very, very little better than an open sewer.
Right. It was a pit.
Yeah, sure, it was a pit. And they threw all kinds of garbage. That's I'm using a very nice expression. They threw all kinds of garbage into that pit. You think about obviously, that you think about a medieval castle in the dungeons, right? So, you think about all the torture things they had down there, but they don't tell you that was really the cesspool of the castle.
Yep. It was wet and damp and had rats.
Right. It was messy. It was messy with the worst mess you could imagine. And the rats were they were in charge there. And the rats were the ones in charge.
It was like the barracks in the army. Not that bad. When I was sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana, And
Yeah.
it was a army base. This is in the 60s, in 1961. It was a army base during World War II, and it had been closed for, 20 years, 25
Right.
years. So, and we had to open them up when we came to get to live in them. And I want to tell you, everything was living in those buildings. Possums and snakes and everything else. So it was not as bad as what Yosef had, but
Yeah. Okay, just a sampling. Okay, let's take a look now at the Derech Chaim. This is the Maharal Prague, his parish on the Mishnayos. He's going to give us a deeper insight into the structure and the lessons of this Mishnah. Go ahead.
I'm wondering, Rabbi, if you could give us a quick summary of the paragraph we just read, because I kind of got lost in it.
Sure. Okay, no problem. The Tosfos Yontif first cites the Rav Bartanura, and whose parish on this Mishnah is that a person should tamod b'simcha. He should be constant in his joy, right? That when you're makabel someone, you should be constant, have a constant state of joy by in greeting this person. And he brings some grammatical and proofs from the pasuk what that means. And then after that, he turns his attention to the expression of Kabbalah. What does Kabbalah means? It means to receive, to receiving somebody, and which is differently simply than just greeting somebody. Greeting somebody is more or less on the superficial level. When you receive somebody, that means you're embracing him. Mikabu from Mikabel, so that you're like embracing him, right? They say about a utensil. If you have a container, so a container has what they call in Hebrew a base kibul. A base kibul is the inside place where whatever is supposed to be held and stored in the container is stored in the container. So that's a base kibul. So it like when you put something in, you put a tea into a teacup. So the teacup is receiving and, so to speak, embracing the tea. You have a bag, and you put some svarim into a bag. So that bag is receiving the svarim. It's makabel the svarim. So that's the way we understand that a person should embrace somebody, not simply receive them outwardly, externally, in a happy way, which is good. That's very good, and it's a very, very important.
we say Kabbalat Shabbat.
That's right. You embrace the Shabbat. You're not simply you're greeting the Shabbos, but really, if you work on it, you're supposed to really embrace the Shabbos. Somebody and something that you're looking forward to, and you enjoy, and you want to experience to the fullest extent. So it's not enough just to greet them. You want to embrace them. Yeah, you want to embrace them. And then finally, he brings down the Rambam that the lesson of the Rambam was actually, the Rav, he's still referring to the Rav Bartanura, excuse me. Rav Bartanura, he was referring to, he's getting the Hana V'Deyu, he's getting Hana and knowledge, he's getting benefit and knowledge from this person. In receiving him, it's pleasurable for him to receive him, and it's a exchange of minds. It's like a meeting of the minds as well. It's not just a physical hana and the joy of having to see this person, but it's also an exchange of a meeting of the minds. And then finally brings down the Rambam that this is in contrast to Rav Yishmael's statement, in contrast to Shammai's statement, the Kabul, Kolam Sefer Panim Yafos, that's the Rambam says what Rabbi Shmuel is saying is greater than what Shammai said. So it's more depthful. It has more dimensions that when you receive a person with simcha, rather than if you're just doing it from an external point of view of Sefer Panim Yafos. Okay, so that should bring us to the
I appreciate that.
Derech HaChaim.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. No problem.
V'yesh ladas ki naga shetirich al ha'adam. And there is to know that when what is this nahaga?
Right, there is Yeshudas Kiha Nahaga Shitzurach Adam in Hagasoy. Yeshar Hanhaga is behavior. Hanhaga is behavior.
Okay, so ki hanhaga is when he behaves.
Well, it's like this. Yesh Ladas Ki Hanhaga. Since ki is in this the word ki has 3 or 4 different meanings. In this context, it means since. There is to da, yesh ladas. There is to know. Ki hanhaga shitzurach al adam. The behavior that a person is required to be accustomed to do.
It is a behavior that is straight, vitova and good, im ha brios with people, nachlakat legimel chlakim.
Oh, okay.
In three portions.
Right, so there are 3 components. There are 3 components. The proper behavior and the beneficial behavior that a person is supposed to interact with people is divided into 3 portions, 3 components.
Hachelek ha'echad, the first one, eich yeh hagso im gedole. The first one is how he should behave with great people. Hamala mimenu, to elevate with them.
No, that they are greater than him, meaning the first of the 3 types of behavior are number 1 is how you're supposed to behave when you're dealing with a person who's greater than you.
Okay. Zehu hanahag aleph, and this is the first behavior.
Right.
Behelek habet eich yeh hagaso im b'nei adam. The second one is how a person should behave with people. In other words, not great people, but just regular people.
Yeah, continue. Hanagaso im b'nei adam shehem ketanim mimenu.
Shehem ketanim mimenu, that they are smaller than him.
Right.
They are less great than him.
Right.
V'chele gimel hagimel eich tiyeh hanagaso im chaverav. And the third one is how he should behave with his peers, his people who are Shehem B'nai Gilu V'dogamtsu V'hem Kiyotze Vo. That they are, what's Gilu?
It's a phrase, B'nai Gilo, they're the same type of person as him, meaning they're in the same
Category?
yeah, I guess you could say they're in the same category as he, I mean, whether it's socially, financially, you know, in terms of status, whatever it might be.
V'dugmaso, which means, and the same thing, that they're in the same category?
They're similar to him, but Dugmaso, and they're similar to him.
And they're similar to him. V'hem Kiyotze Bo. And they are like he fulfills in them.
Vehem Kiyotzibo, and like those that are also in this way, they also are in the same way as he is.
Okay, so there's just three ways of saying the same thing.
Yeah, what the difference is, I'm not sure. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so there's three ways that we should behave with people. One way is the way we would behave with Gedolim. The second way is the way we behave with people who are less than us. And the third way is the way we behave with people who are similar to us.
Right. Right. And it's important to know who, so therefore it's important to know who you're dealing with, and once you know who you're dealing with, you have to know how you're supposed to behave with them, and it can make a very big difference. I told you more, I think more, at least one time, it's written up in a sefer that actually my wife heard this from the granddaughter. My wife heard this story from the granddaughter from her grandfather who he was the one that happened to. He was a lawyer in Germany in the late 1930s. So one morning he came to his office building where he had his law offices, and there was an elevator there. And if you remember anything about the elevators in the early times, they had to have an actual elevator operator. You know, they had to have someone operate the elevator. So there was this.
I did that once.
Yeah.
I was an elevator operator.
Yeah, as a job.
The President Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Interesting.
I had a little handle that you have to go back and forth with the handle and get it to line up with the floor.
Sure, very nice. Did people give you tips?
No, I never. I got maybe one or two tips in a week. Terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe I just wasn't so good at it.
You gave him a bumpy ride?
I guess so. Yeah, they may have been unhappy with me.
I'm sure you did fine. Maybe just didn't win at well, that was before they had casinos in Atlantic City, huh?
Yeah, way before. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So anyway, so this Jewish lawyer comes to his office one morning, and the elevator operator says, "Don't go up to your office today. Go home, pack up, and leave. Never come back again, because they're up there waiting for you." And that meant the Nazis were waiting for him up in his office. So he said, "Okay, thank you. You understood what that meant." So he said, on the way out, "Tell me, but why did you tell me? Why did you tell me?" And he says, "Because you're the only person that says good morning to me when you come into the office. Nobody else says good morning to me. You're the only person who says good morning to me." So he felt that he wanted to repay, save the person's life, save his family's life. And so sometimes you think that you have to, you have a porter, an elevator operator, so a custodian. So you might not think that it means too much to behave with them in a proper way, but perfect example, it could save a person's life and the life of his family for all generations. So we'll learn more about that tomorrow. We're going to see what the tomorrow is. Yom Shishi, Erev Shabbos. Okay, so we'll continue with this Mitzvah Hashem beginning of the week, and 9:30 tomorrow. I guess we'll do a little word learning on Chumash Mitzvahs. Anyone would like to join us? And okay, we'll take a short break, and we'll start the Mr. Brewer shift.
Thank you, Rabbi.
I
Quite
think.
welcome, Lou.
Okay, feel better, Lou.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, I've got a asthma attack.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Wow.
First time, be well.
Appreciate it
Have a
very
good
much.
afternoon.
Okay, I'll be back on another computer.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stay
See you
right here.